Your leg pain is not nothing. Your leg pants. Douglas, we have leg pants now. Leg cramps. Your leg cramps are not
And
nothing.
exactly what are those?
Leg pains. They're what you put over your leg cramps. Because it's literally what you feel like you have to do is hide those leg cramps, especially when you're out walking and your doctor has dismissed those leg cramps and the leg pain as just part of aging. It's just poor circulation. You're getting old. It's just some arthritis. Just some back issues. Maybe it's fibromyalgia. And you're sitting here going, okay, is this pain in my head? It is not. And everyone who's in our live studio audience today for the Leg Saver Hotline podcast, right? It is not in your head. The pain for PAD is, yes, no, it's not in your head, Douglas. It's real. But they want to make you feel like it's in your head. They want to make you feel like you're crazy and there's nothing that can be done about it. So there's a lot that can be done. It might actually be poor circulation known as peripheral artery disease. And it's no fun, but there are treatments. There's so much that you can do on your own to improve your prognosis, walking and eating better and quitting smoking and taking your meds, blood thinners and statins and all that jazz, blood pressure medication, right, Douglas?
But when you said that, I was thinking, I wonder how much time I spent thinking the same thing before I got to the right doctor.
Yeah.
How much
Like,
time
is it
I
in my
spent
head?
thinking I'm working too hard, or I stressed a muscle, or
Yeah.
I slept wrong, or because I remember saying those things to myself too before I got officially diagnosed. Is like,
You didn't
well,
even
it's huh?
you didn't even get officially diagnosed till after they're like, oh yeah, it's just nothing. Yeah, you just have a few blocked arteries. We're gonna put a few stents in, then we're gonna bypass it, and then we're gonna bypass that one. And then at what point were you finally diagnosed with PAD? That was not till a couple years later, right?
2 years, a little over 2 years,
2 years.
but at the same time, how many of us? I was thinking about what you said earlier, and I was thinking there were days when I was hurting. I didn't know if I was coming or going, if I was
Yep.
going north or south, and and part of that insanity that we get in our head in our thinking is, well, I did pull a muscle, I did overexert myself,
Yeah.
and all of that, and this was brought up the other day. My mama and Papa lived till 98. They never went to they did not believe in going to the doctors.
Oh my gosh.
You know, that unless you were dying, Papa would go to the doctor then. But until then, he had all these remedies. They just did all this wonderful stuff. But and makes you wonder what they did back then when they had PAD, because PAD's been around for a while.
But I don't think they had the ultra processed foods. And I know that Marcia's here and she always talks about foods and is very conscientious of what she puts in her mouth and she checks all the labels. And if you compared the labels to what they were, whether it's bread or whether it's milk or whether it's even cheese, um, to what it was, or cereals, what it was, even just 10 or 15 years ago, the labels and the ingredients are very, very different. And this is why they think that there are so many earlier cases of colon cancer.
And does that go along with the whole aspect of what you were talking about a minute ago? I remember the Marlboro Man was cool. Growing up, the Marlboro Man was cool. And you saw smoking on TV and the movies and all, and it was cool. But what did it actually create when you read that little emblem on the side? Warning, smoking is dangerous to your health.
Yeah.
But we still do things. How easy it is to stop at McDonald's when you're busy. or that type of stuff. And
Yeah, they never did that
and
back then. But even then, if they did, the ingredients were actually pretty wholesome. They're just not today. I mean, we've even heard that chicken McNuggets at one point, it was just slime that they put in there. Ugh.
I never
Well,
did
the
like chicken
McDonald's French
McNuggets.
fry, if you drop a French fry behind the couch or in your car, it'll probably look exactly the same in 5 years.
Oh my gosh. They do. They
That
don't mold.
that tells
They
you what
do.
preservatives do.
They really do.
And
But
Dr. John was just saying,
if you put a potato behind your couch or dropped it in your car, you would find a mess in 5 years. Well, you might not
oh yeah,
find anything.
might be just kind of
Bread does the
gross.
same thing.
Yeah,
Certain
bread,
bread,
yep.
it'll
Dr.
last
John was
forever.
asking last week why he could leave the bread out and it doesn't seem to phase it anymore.
Try that with homemade bread or, like a
Yep.
sourdough starter bread. Right. It will mold.
If
Yep.
I do
All
eat bread,
your
it's sour.
and
So
how
at
is it
what
that
point then?
apples last a year? How
I
is
don't
it that
know.
apples last a year? Please tell me that one. What
I
is that
heard you say,
coating?
and I buy those for my granddaughters.
And I wonder if I haven't bought the organic apples yet. We still have so many of the other apples because I mean, we ended up with a whole big bag full of them like a year ago, and they're still perfectly fine. I'm not sure if I should just go throw them out or if I should just peel the ones I want to eat.
So do you
How
think
safe
that
really is that coating?
evidently how long it they tell you to wash them before you eat them, but do you get when you wash them, do you get all the stuff that they put in them or on them actually off of it?
Use
Yeah, I
Dawn
Well,
just
and right
saw.
dishwasher.
now Hmm?
Go ahead.
there's a disease or I don't know what you call it, something going around, and it's on the fruits and vegetables. And they're saying, be careful of where you buy your fruits and vegetables and wash them with a stiff brush repeatedly under running water. And it's like explosive diarrhea. So, like, you don't know what you're eating all the time.
No, you have no idea.
No,
There was a light
we
that
don't.
I saw, some sort of a, a purifier light. Is that a scam? Have you seen that where you stick it in the water that your produce is in, and then supposedly all the pesticides, you could see it all forms in the water, and then you rinse off the vegetables and the pesticides wash down the drain. Have you seen that?
Is it ultraviolet? Is that ultraviolet?
Yeah, I think it was an
Yeah.
ultraviolet light.
Yeah.
I
But
don't know if it works or if it's
can't you
just a
buy
scam.
that spray? Can't you buy that spray that is out there where you can spray your vegetables and
But
it's
what's in the
supposed to?
spray?
Yeah.
What's in that? Yeah.
Yes. See, that's even a good question. That's a really good question. Marie, what are you eating over there?
Cantaloupe.
Ooh, that sounds good. See, the fruits with the really hard shells, I feel better. I don't know if I should, but I feel better about eating some of those, like oranges that have a thicker skin or cantaloupe or some other melon, watermelon that has a really thick rind. But I guess, if they're watering the plants and there's pesticides and it goes in the water and then it's absorbed inside the fruit or
Don't
vegetable.
ruin my fruit for me. Don't ruin my
Um,
fruit for me.
You're
So
what?
it is our lifestyle different today than it was? Is or how we treat ourselves, how we work with our doctors, and what we put in. Is it that different than when we grew up? I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things, but how hard is it today? to I had a brain moment. 100% be on top of our game all the time.
You mean with the doctors or just in general in
Just in
making sure
general
you're
with-
doing everything you need?
Yes, and being our best advocates, because our doctors, I'm following this doctor, heart doctor, and he talks about, and we've heard this in our program before. He says, I tell these people what they need to do, but when they walk out their door, they're on their own because I can't follow them. I can't stand there and say, or slap their hand and go, no, don't do that. No, don't eat that. Don't put that salt. That's too much sugar. That's too much this, whatever. And we had a doctor on our show one time. He said, I told this patient if he didn't stop smoking, he was going to lose his leg. And he said, I went to the window and watched this same guy walk across the parking lot and light a cigarette.
Yeah. Leg Saver Hotline. Speaking of the devil, 1-833-PAD legs. We're on it. So give us a call if you have any questions about poor circulation in your
can I help
legs. You
you?
need help. If you need help finding a doctor, we have new PADtrials.org, and you can now find the greatest advances in the tools and techniques being used to treat those small below the knee vessels clear into the foot. You can also find some lifestyle modification trials. There's a beetroot trial. There is, I think, an olive oil trial and some walking trials that you can participate in. And there's also a supervised exercise therapy finder now on the website. So I don't know if anyone knew. Kind of exciting. Very excited about it. We have some, Alan, you want to take a look in the chat and see what's coming in from YouTube?
Can raw opium eating can cause P.A.D?
Can raw opium eating?
I have
That's-
absolutely no idea.
Raw opium eating. I'm thinking that there is a misspelling in there. Maybe just raw eating
Or
raw
you-
vegetables.
Could it have
Eating
meant raw onion?
raw onion. Could have. Anyone else have any guesses on that one? Or is it just taking opioids? But oh no, he's actually right. I just found it. Millions of people worldwide consume raw or minimally processed opium, particularly in Iran, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. And this is in Science Insights. So opium has a narrow medical use, remains classified controlled substance. So it says the global picture is shifting as cheap synthetic opioids reshape drug markets in ways that are already reducing demand for plant-based products like opium and heroin.
Yes.
So
This is from Joshua, who's on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep, and it says he's getting it from YouTube from Dadu Data 97777. So what does it actually do to the body? So it says raw opium contains a cocktail of active compounds, morphine, codeine, wow, and a few others. Morphine is the dominant one, and the reason opium is powerfully addictive. Gives you feelings of pleasure. I don't think they've ever done a study, from what I'm seeing, on the direct causation between raw opium and PAD. So
I don't understand why he's calling it raw opium.
no, but you can actually have raw opium.
I didn't
So
know.
you can even get opium
It hasn't been-
tinctures.
Yeah, it hasn't been processed. It's probably raw from the flower. Doesn't opium come from the
The
poppy?
poppy, yeah.
Right, was right off the plant.
Wow.
So there isn't any evidence that I can see that there's a direct correlation. YM, should I be on a statin if I have PAD? That is actually between you and your doctor. There are some blood tests that you can get to determine whether you have a liver production problem or a cholesterol reabsorption problem. And if you have a cholesterol reabsorption problem, you basically just have to increase your psyllium, increase your plant sterols. According to a recent study from Mayo Clinic, there's a company called Step One Foods that its key ingredients are psyllium and plant sterols. And they claim that they actually had a powerful impact on lowering cholesterol. That's if you have a cholesterol reabsorption problem. So meaning you're not pooping enough. So women should be 1 to 2 times a day and men should be 2 to 3 times a day because that's where your bad cholesterol is getting excreted. So if you want to lower your cholesterol, that's one way to do it. But statins also have some inflammation reducing effects as well. So you really do have to talk to your doctor. But it's Dr. Lily Johnston, who is at Lily Johnston MD on YouTube, and she's one of our metabolic experts who answers questions for all of our friends here on our network at The Way to My Heart on our YouTube channel. She actually says that the lower dose statin is all that's needed. There are a lot of doctors that give you the maximum, and it's not necessarily needed for effectiveness in many cases. So good discussion to have with your doctor, and also getting multiple opinions is really important for that. So hi, Lorraine.
Hi.
Good to see you in a live studio audience. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. I'm not too bad. I've just been diagnosed there, so I'm just trying to get as much information as I can.
Well, good. If you want to ask any questions or want to, hear some of the experiences here, how early is your PAD? Are you what's considered an intermittent claudicant, meaning you walk and then when you rest, you feel better? Or is
Yeah,
it at a point you are, so
yeah,
you still have a lot of time?
yeah. So then I'm starting now to get when I am resting, I can feel pain as well. But I'm hopefully getting well, I'm going to the specialist here just to they're hoping to put a stent in.
But if you're an intermittent claudicant, it's not
Yeah,
in guidelines to get stented.
really? You see, I
No.
don't know. I don't really know much about it. And
Are you in the UK or US?
yeah, I'm in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
That's interesting because they normally don't. Is it your iliac artery
Yeah,
in your okay, so that's different. So the iliac artery is a really big artery, and if it's more than 75% narrowed, they typically like to take care of that because you just don't want that artery to go down. It's a big artery, and so if they can go in, do a little bit of roto-rooting. Sometimes they use sound waves or shock waves, lithotripsy, just as you might be familiar with the technology because it breaks. It was first used to break up kidney stones. So they're now
right.
using the same technology to crack plaque. And I know they have it
Okay.
over there in Europe. And a lot of times they'll use it in the iliac arteries and they crack the plaque and then they insert a drug-coated balloon. And the drug
Right.
ends up either paclitaxel or sirolimus. It seeps into the little cracks and it just calms the vessel. And then they place a stent. And
Right. And
so,
then once that's done, do you get automatic pain relief or
oh yeah, that's a big artery. That you should
yeah,
get a lot of pain relief right away.
right. And what
So
will it come back? Will I keep needing to get that done or should that
that
last?
that artery is really durable. So as long as you have mitigated your risk factors, you're taking the right medications. And just like me, as Marcia was pointing out in the chat, am I on my walking pad? I am on my walking pad. I love
Okay.
my walking pad. I try to get on it at least for an hour in the morning, and then I get on it for a little bit in the evening as well.
Right.
But I try to get in as many steps as I can. And as long as you're doing that and you make walking just part of your daily life, to
Yeah.
get out and smell the roses for 30 minutes a day, it's
Right.
really important.
I'm just actually worried because the vascular consultant that I seen said because that was so blocked that they didn't know that she wasn't very nice, to be honest. She turned around and she said, if that's what's going on there, God knows what's going on in your heart and brain. And that's really worried me,
Yeah.
you know.
Because
So
when you have your legs, a lot of times you don't realize you're slowing down is the issue that we have. So if you have P.A.D, you're not experiencing. So a lot of times the vascular doctor will say, well, I'm not going to send you to a cardiologist because you're not talking about or complaining about chest pain or whatever. And well, you're not, because you're not walking fast enough to trigger
yeah,
anything because your legs hurt. So before you get on a real walking regimen and before you have that procedure, I would get your heart checked to make sure that your heart can withstand your legs actually moving further and faster.
right.
So that's really important. But it sounds as though if your iliac artery is that blocked, I would imagine that your symptoms are worse than you expressed. They hurt. That usually hurts. And
It really, I actually went to the doctor because my hip was sore and then the pain in the calf came after. It was my,
yep.
and it's more, my hip does hurt a lot. Like,
See, yeah,
yeah,
that's not fun. And we've had people actually get hip replacements. And it's not that they ultimately didn't need or wouldn't need a hip replacement at that point, but it wasn't actually necessary at that point for
right.
the pain they were experiencing. So the symptoms didn't actually match. The symptoms were caused by the iliac issue. And so I always tell people, if you're over the age of 60 and you have any risk factor for P.A.D, before you have a major surgery for your hip or a spinal fusion or anything like that, just ask them for a vascular evaluation. It's not much time, it's not much cost, easy breezy. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you did. I'm glad your doctor sent you for a vascular assessment. Was it, they didn't,
Well,
and this is how we,
I had just said I had a sore hip, and then obviously he said, does your calf ever hurt? And I says, well, sometimes when I walk, it hurts. And he says, well, he actually sent me for the, the pulse test on my foot, and they couldn't feel any pulse in my foot. So that's why he sent me off to the vasculars.
I like your
So,
doctor.
what do you know? What he is so far, he's really good, like, and really helpful. So just said, keep walking to build up your blood vessel, so the blood can get down. So, but it's all fairly
Yeah,
new
that's,
to me, so I'd never even heard of it before, to be honest.
most people have not. In America, they did a poll and they found that 70% of Americans do not even know what P.A.D is. I'm
Yeah,
giving a presentation tomorrow and I talked about P.A.D at the same group a year ago, and I'm going to guarantee that we won't even get 30% of the room to say that they even remember what P.A.D is. So it's just not something that is top of mind. It's very interesting, is we've talked about doing walks and things like that, and everyone can relate to a heart walk. For some reason, they can relate to, like, even the ALS ice challenge, which was really fun and creative, and they had the right people that started that off.
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's walk. And but with PAD, where walking is the best medicine and it highlights the legs, you're using your legs to walk, people
Yeah.
just don't seem to resonate with it. So we don't understand. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying some new things this year to raise awareness. We haven't talked about it yet, but I want you guys to start thinking about it. We're going to launch the Great Circulation Challenge, and we're going to be cumulatively traveling does anyone know how many miles of vessels are in our bodies? Veins, arteries, capillaries? Anyone
No,
want to venture to guess? How many
18
miles?
miles. 18
18.
miles. That's my guess.
60,000
Whoa,
miles.
whoa.
I don't know how that's possible in my little body, but this is what they say. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. It is.
it's
So
pretty awesome.
if we put all them together, we could take the highway to Potsy and visit Potsy.
You
We
could.
can visit
You
Potsy.
could. A few times.
So we got to figure out our groups so we can create teams. And I was thinking maybe we do, people can figure out the teams. Maybe we do the UK group versus US versus Canada. But
Yeah.
we can all do different groups, or you can pick your own friends and do your own thing. But it should be really, really fun. We're hoping to launch it in the next few weeks where you can at least sign up. And then we're going to start it on September 1st. And I think together, because we're going to have doctors walking and industry folks walking. So what
Hey,
is
Kym,
that? Yes.
that phone call is exactly what we're talking about tonight.
Oh, geez. Oh, really?
100% exactly what
Wow.
we're talking about tonight. Her doctor retired, and now they're talking amputation. And now they want her on statins. The new doctor says you have to take statins. And the old doctor said, no, you don't need to be on this stuff. So,
And they're already talking amputation. 85%. Did you guys know 85% of amputations are actually preventable? And that 60% of all amputations are being performed without a doctor even trying to open up the arteries at all. And 90% of
and
all
is
amputations are being performed of another
is it about the
subset.
doctor, though? Is it about the doctor? She made this comment. She said she had this condition. She had cancer. He wanted to take a rib. Just right off the bat, period. No other procedures, no treatment, no therapy, no medicine, nothing. Just take a rib and let's move on. She went to therapy and did her own therapy and cured. So it's that finding the right doctor in all this insanity that doesn't want to just jump off the cliff right away.
Yeah. And what I love is that Lorraine is actually saying that her primary care doctor did not dismiss. So 70% of 400 people that we polled in our network said that despite textbook symptoms, hip pain, hip cramps, leg cramps, butt cramps, calf pain, foot pain, whatever it might be, that the doctor diagnosed them with diabetic neuropathy, old age, general poor circulation. Go home, you're just getting old. Arthritis, fibromyalgia. But yet, Lorraine, so impressive that your doctor, when you said hip pain, usually they would send you to an orthopedic doctor and go get an x-ray.
Yeah.
But your doctor was like, well, do you get calf pain as well?
I know. I just thought he was very good.
Or did you think he was crazy going, what are you talking about?
I
Isn't
just
it
didn't want him.
time for hip replacement?
I just didn't want him to tell me what he told me, but at least I got it caught early.
You did. Do you have any risk factors?
I smoke. I
Oh, you
don't
still
know.
do?
No,
Oh, not now.
not since I found out.
Okay, good. Because you need 30 days. We always tell people 30 days, if you can help it, if you're not really on the verge of losing your leg now, 30 days before, before you have a procedure so that your blood can have a chance to get back to normal. The oxygen can return to the blood and be delivered in the nutrients as well. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that
So
be a question, Kim?
What?
Wouldn't that be a question like what she's talking and what we're talking about? You've been doing this a little over 6 years now. Do you think there's a time frame, a general time frame from all of us when we first get a test till we actually hear those 3 letters? P.A.D.
Yeah.
And what each of us as individuals have to go through before we actually are diagnosed with P.A.D.
So I know what people have to go through a lot of times. I think Marcia had to even wait through COVID before she was diagnosed. I mean, it took a nurse practitioner, Marcia, that came and
No.
did a house.
No. My doctor diagnosed me right off the bat and sent me to a
That-
specialist.
oh, they did.
But it did take a while, it took a while.
Took a while to get in. Hi, Beth. I see.
Yeah,
Hi,
I was
Beth. I
lucky.
see Chris. Chris is here
Hi,
too.
everybody.
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hello.
So
Everyone's
did you look in
Kim,
the chat
here.
on
She say hello.
YouTube?
Hello, Michael. What?
To
Look in chat on
answer
YouTube.
your
Oh, is there more on YouTube? Oh,
I
Imelda is
apologize for
saying, I saw an
late.
article in Art magazine about leg cramps and they didn't mention PAD. Yeah, I've seen that a lot. They talk about, potassium or magnesium deficiencies or lack of water, but they never talk about PAD, which is so disappointing because it's more prevalent in its advanced stage. It's more prevalent and deadlier than prostate cancer, colon cancer, and breast cancer combined. But if it's caught early, it's completely manageable and treatable. And so much is in your hands to be able to do something about. The problem is I forget what it's called, but there's an organization that determines, kind of the risk versus reward. And they don't believe that early testing for PAD is effective. And so we're having trouble getting the ARC Act, which is trying to go through on Capitol Hill, to get the ARC Act passed, which would cover early testing for PAD for everyone who's at high risk. So it could be everyone over the age of 60. It could be a diabetic. It could be high cholesterol, high blood pressure. But they say it's not worth the risk. I don't know. Testing every single woman over the age of 40 with, I think there's, radiation and exposing us to radiation. They claim small amounts, but doing it every year. I don't know. Versus just putting blood pressure cuffs on your legs, like which is more risky? And if PAD is more in its advanced stage is more prevalent and deadlier than breast cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer combined, and those all have early testing, I don't understand how PAD is not worth the risk of a blood pressure cuff being put on your leg.
Well, is it
I don't
that,
know
or is
if
it,
any of you could explain it to me.
is it even more than that? How do we get our PCs to just take 2 fingers and check our pulses?
2
on a
fingers, 2
regular
seconds.
basis?
Good point. Yeah.
How often? How often do? That's a good question for everybody. How often did your PC ask you to take your shoes and socks off to check your feet, if ever?
Nope.
Until you got to that point where you couldn't walk anymore, and then they want to look at something.
Yeah, we have someone on YouTube that's talking about they have chronic diarrhea from pelvic radiation and they can't do much fiber. Okay, yeah, so that makes it really tough when you have when you're trying to get rid of the bad cholesterol. If you do have a cholesterol reabsorption issue, it might be a liver production issue. So you're saying the doctor wanted to give you a high dose statin and did not do. They should always do blood work prior to giving you a statin or any medication to make sure you have a baseline. What we always suggest is to not just have a basic lipid panel, but if you do have the option, some folks in the UK do not have the option, but I know in the US you definitely have the option to get an advanced lipid panel to get the particle number. You want to know not just the the quality. You don't want to know just the quantity, you want to know the quality. You want to know, do I have a whole bunch of large fluffy LDL particles, or do I have a lot of small dense LDL particles that when they become oxidized they become little troublemakers eking into the damaged areas of your vessels and pushing the wall out and hardening your arteries. So you want to know the particle number. That's really important. And then once you know the particle number, then it's taking a step back and going, okay, well, if I have atherosclerosis, what is causing the damage to my arteries? Is it environmental factors? Is it the smoking? What is it that's causing the damage to my arteries that's allowing these little troublemakers to get into trouble, right? And build up that plaque. Either that, or if it's clot, then what's causing the clotting issue? I'm talking about this tomorrow on my Breakfast Club presentation to a group of men, that AFib, leaky valve, aneurysms, cancer, they can all cause clots, even LP little a. If you have high levels of LP little a, you can have clotting. So always know and make sure that that is mitigated before you have any sort of procedure, as long as you have time, so that you don't end up with a revolving door of procedures.
So a question then, let me ask you this question. So if we lined up 10 doctors right here, 10 doctors in a row, are we going to get 10 different suggestions and ideas about the direction to go, and should they have this test or that test or this drug or that drug? Are we going to get 10 different viewpoints, even though, do they go to
Hell
the
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't
That's
they have
fine.
standards, of course, of treatment?
There are the P.A.D.
Recommended?
guidelines. There should
Right.
be there should be the basics. We should at least have the basics, and there should be, a certain amount. But the issue that we're having with P.A.D. is that there are so many different presentations of disease, and not one case is exactly like the other. And we have one person that is clotting in his legs because of lung cancer. Another person is clotting because they have factor 5 Leiden or factor 11 or protein S, or another that might have the MTHFR mutation, or someone has a leaky valve, or someone who's had an AFib event. So there are so many different things that could be leading to your leg arteries getting blocked. Yeah, Beth. Hi, Beth.
Hi, sorry I was late coming in. I haven't been feeling good today. But anyway, my question is there a doctor or somebody that we could get to come in and explain step by step the benefits, or not the benefits, but the effects that P.A.D has on people? I mean, I know everybody is different and everybody experiences things
Have you been to our
differently, but
YouTube channel? Have you been to our YouTube channel?
I'm bad. I haven't
So
been.
if you go to, but thanks for the tease. So if you go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/the @ the way to my heart, we actually have people that will spend hours on there. And especially if you look under the Q&A with doctors, there are a bunch of short clips and there are long clips. We even have a P.A.D. orientation that's on there where we talk about the different types of P.A.D. We talk about the different causes. It's an entire series of videos where we talk about the kidneys, we talk about diabetes, we talk about autoimmune conditions. There's one doctor that's on there. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it's a brilliant, it's as part of the orientation that we have. I think it's a playlist. Might just be one long video, but I think it's a playlist. And
I'll have to go
he
check that.
shows, yeah, he actually shows a picture of a pipe, you know, in your house, the plumbing, and how, and he uses the analogy of the plaque, the rust and everything building up on the pipe and blocking the pipes and blocking the water being, you know, able to get down to the things below. So it's pretty good, but we have to start. I've had doctors on. The problem that we're having is, for example, we had an endocrinologist on Tuesday. So I'm trying to rotate the different doctors, and I can't figure out why no one's showing up. We have 13,000 people in our network. They're all asking questions in the group, and not one person, when I posted in the group about anyone have any questions for an endocrinologist, not one, maybe one.
Are they-
Douglas pinch hit and jumped in. And so it gets kind of frustrating that when I do get doctors on, how do we get people to show up?
Are these
Send me a
people
private
work?
message next time that happens.
Yeah.
Kim, when
I
it
mean,
was regular, I was on there.
well, you were on there, and Heinz was on there, and Douglas was on there every single
Yeah,
time.
but
And I
it
think
got- it
Alan has
became-
started coming every time.
Can you
It
send me a
became
private message?
regular.
If you
Maybe
go
some
under the
people are at
events
work.
and any of the groups, if you go under the events, it will show all the upcoming shows we got going on. And I
Okay.
myself, the ones that I want to attend, I put into my calendar, and my calendar sends me a reminder right on my phone.
You know,
need to-
and
That's a good
Marie
idea, thank you.
actually, yeah, she just did a really cool series that she, in one night, she thought I was batshit crazy. She's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" So, and it was late. I think it had to have been like 10 or 11 o'clock your time. And I was still sending you messages, and you're like,
It was going
it
on
was
1
late.
o'clock my time.
Oh my God. That we're
Yeah.
doing an orientation for food as medicine. So Dr. Danziger is actually taking chapters out of our Food for Thought book that you can find on Amazon. And it's even on Amazon in the UK as well. But it's the Food for Thought book, and we have digital copies that you can get for free. And anyone who signs up is getting an email every single Monday with that chapter of the book in a PDF, and they get a worksheet. And if you show up for every single one of the videos, the modules, or you even watch the post and you let us know that you watched it, you're going to get a certificate for the P.A.D. Food as Medicine Masterclass at the end of September. So we're doing one every Monday. So
And
this
they are
coming Monday,
all listed under the events.
they're under the events. Take a look, because there's a lot of them.
I'm gonna throw a
That's right.
challenge out there.
I can't
I'm gonna
always
throw a
attend.
challenge out there to everybody listening is, what are you willing to do to save your life and your leg? And are you, if you're not at work or some major, thing going on, how hard is it to be here sometimes for these shows that we get these doctors on with that take time out of their busy schedule to be with us, to help us? And it goes back to the smoking, it goes back to the eating. What are we willing to do to be our best advocates for ourselves?
Who has
And
their
what-
TV on?
I don't hear a
Is my
TV.
TV?
Mine's
I don't know.
muted.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
I had
Oh.
to cut mine on. I got home.
You know, I listen in on Dr. Danziger's shows. I don't agree with everything he says, but that's my
Nope.
opinion. He's a lot smarter than I am. but I listen.
No,
in
but
and
he's,
I get email reminders too.
yeah.
I get them. So I don't know, Kim, how I get the emails, but maybe you can tell everybody what to do to get emails sent to you to say you want to be on that show.
Yeah, I think Marie, inside the descriptions of every one of the orientation events, I think we have a link in there that people can sign up for the email notifications for
I have
the
messages
food
from Murray.
events, at least. And I think if you want to join our walking seminars on a weekly basis, you just have to email info@padhelp.org and mark your calendar for September 19th. You can spend an entire Saturday with us. We are going to do a 5.5-hour walking orientation. And at the end, you are going to get a P.A.D. walking masterclass certification. So, and you don't have to stay for the whole thing. But you can, to get the certificate, you'll have to watch the modules that you didn't watch and be able to answer some questions. But yeah, that's on September 19th. We haven't figured out if we're going to start it at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock Eastern time. Still kind of debating whether I want to get up extra early or extra early on the West Coast. But we do
remind
have,
everybody also, Kim, when you go to the YouTube channel, make sure you hit those like buttons.
yeah, please. It helps us, helps with the
It
algorithm.
helps Kim out for sure. So
We get a
make sure
penny
you hit those
donation
like
if you watch a
buttons.
video. We get a penny here and there. It really does help us. It not only helps the algorithm, but we have, I think it was it, I can't remember if it was Wanda or there was someone that, or maybe it was Marina, but discovered that you can just, if you're walking away from your computer, just hit a playlist, just start a playlist, walk away, turn off the volume and watch it and just let the videos in the playlist run. I know that's a little cheatery, but it really does help us. Because we don't ask you guys for donations or help or anything. Just watch some videos and the pennies will start rolling in.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
very
I
helpful.
watch them all.
Can I ask a question, Ken?
Always.
Why don't you ask for donations?
Because most people in our network are just going to get it back. We try to give, we like to look for grants. We just got a really great grant for putting together the walking app. And we got a grant for the orientation. Well, it's kind of godfathered in. The money actually went to pay for the app because we have to get it on the app store and everything else. So I just have to fudge it. But yeah, I mean, we appreciate, like, I know that there are several of you that are here right now that do donate and it helps me a lot.
I have been
It does
begging for
help.
you to put that up there.
I know.
Put it
I
back
deliberately
up
am not
there.
putting it up there because of Douglas.
I have been begging you for months to put that back up there.
I know. I don't take a salary. So, you know, it's so funny when people message me and, you know, like, aren't you a professional? I'm like, I'm a volunteer. I'm a volunteer. I do this because I love every single one of you
Okay,
and I
okay.
want to help.
One day I want to have a chat with you about that, Kim.
Holler at me, Potsy. I'll back you up on this one.
Okay. I'm serious. I want to have a chat with you about that, Kim.
I talked to this lady on Less Leg More Heart, and she's such a force with getting donations, and they have a gala and she does fundraisers, but God, I just don't have the time to do major fundraisers in person and big galas and things. And she's raking in some money, but I won't have the time to do what we have to do on a daily basis to help create the change that we want to see. I mean, ultimately, it'd be great to have money and maybe I could do more, but there's so many people that would fall through the cracks in the meantime. I mean, Douglas, we get so many calls every single week, sometimes 2 to 3 a day, that require a lot of effort, a lot of time. And it's not just that. Do you know we get 200 to 300 posts a week across our network, and everyone needs help and they need their questions answered. And, I don't want anyone to ever not get their questions answered. It takes time. So
We have over 13,000 now in the
yeah.
network.
Yep.
So imagine trying to handle 13,000 individuals in all different places, all different locations, at all different phases of our disease. And how hard can that be?
Yeah.
Oh, I know, and I want to help so bad, but I have to work right now.
I wish I could actually put you all, my dream would be to put you all to work and be able to pay you. That would be my dream. But Marina is even, oh my goodness. Douglas volunteers his time to answer the hotline if ever anyone ever wants to be trained with that. Marie volunteers her time and she does all of the events and posts. And Marina is literally, oh my God, she is putting together our P.A.D. trials maps. So all
Wow.
of the new devices and stuff, yeah, she has to hand input for Marina, hand input every single one of the trials onto we have 3 different maps. So one for the advanced stage trials for the below the knee ones. And then we have a P.A.D. life trials map where we have trials for medicines. We have trials for food like beetroot powder and oil and that kind of thing. And then we have, and I did that for you, Heinz. And then we have our supervised exercise therapy programs on a different map. And so Marina is hand inputting every single one of them on there. And then Alan also helps with our smoking cessation group. And we have Beth and Heinz that show up literally at all of our different programs and help to facilitate and help me to ask questions. And Beth, you help with the smoking cessation group as well, right?
Okay.
And for years, Marcia
I
was
do.
literally in every single one of our videos asking questions. So yeah, we get
I want to plant a little seed. I was involved with the charity for about 10 years. A friend of mine was the executive director, and it was a charity that helped disabled youth, kids that were mentally disabled to the point where they would never be able to work.
Oh, yeah.
And we would get these kids when, oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Hi, Mark.
Yeah, you can go ahead and mute. Okay, he muted. Yeah.
So imagine like what Kym was saying. I was thinking when she's talking like that, American Heart Association, they have this big budget where they have all these individuals, all these little things doing their things, and they get paid to do that. Look at what Kym, we're all volunteers doing the best we can each day.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, sorry. I'll
That's
try and
okay.
I'll be real quick here to make the point. We helped these kids when they became adults. When they turned 19 years old, the families would lose the government funding that they had for these kids.
Oh no. Yeah, that's so sad.
Yeah, and we would help these parents in that transition period. We would help get them funding from the government, and the way the way it works is your child turns 19 years old. One of the parents has been staying home for the whole child's life to look after them. One of the parents couldn't work because the child
Yeah.
needs 24-hour care. They're worn out. They've got no money because they've been spending everything they can on their child, and they're desperate for help. So we would help these people get their kids funding. And this guy, this executive director, was so good at fundraising.
Oh, I love those people.
Oh, yeah. He put so much money in the bank that we got to a point, and he was constantly battling the government. And there was a lot of compromises that had to be made because we needed funding for these kids. So he was very, very good at negotiating. He raised enough money that we got to the point where we dropped our government contracts. We didn't need their money anymore because we were making enough money in our investment accounts, not just to pay all the bills. So we had our executive director making a salary and a few staff members. We also built 2 homes a year. Every year.
Oh my God.
Yes, every year.
Can we hire him?
Yes, he's actually retired now. But my point is, he focused a lot of his time and energy on fundraising and got this charity to the point where it made enough money on its own, just through its investment accounts, to pay all the bills. I'm talking a few $100,000 a year in salaries, and whatever, $500,000 to $1 million a year building homes. So fundraising can make a massive difference.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Are you volunteering for that?
Well, I'm not a fundraiser like he is. I just had the experience of being associated with it. So I do want to have a little chat with you one day, Kym.
Yeah, I would love some ideas.
Alan, add something up for me. So just say, all right, just say 5,000 of us in this group give what, $5 a month for 1 year.
Times 5. That would be
$5 a month.
$25,000 a month. That would be $300,000.
Wow.
Damn.
How many
That's crazy.
Uber rides could that get you?
Yeah, I've gotten to a point. We had an amputee and I felt terrible, but I mean, this guy needed his scooter to go, and I didn't know. I've never dealt with it before. Usually, like, I'm used to our good friend Larry Shorty Coleman with a legendary Harlem Globetrotter, and he's been so wonderful and public and has been a spokesperson for us even on Capitol Hill, where he always makes things so easy for me. And he takes his wheelchair, he's an amputee, and everywhere he goes, he'll bring even some crutches so that he can help put the wheelchair in the back, so I don't have to spend, and get him some sort of big van that's wheelchair accessible. He'll get out of the car and kind of hop over into the seat. But this one gentleman needed to have a consult for a procedure. And so I thought, well, he's just going to be like Larry and some of the other folks that we work with. Well, he had a scooter. He had a big, heavy 300-pound scooter instead of a wheelchair. And he was a below the knee amputee, just like Larry. And I happened to discover on Uber rides that they did have a wheelchair accessible ramp. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I've never seen that before. So I was able to get him that, not knowing that he had this scooter or what it entailed. I was thinking just a wheelchair, get him there, no big deal. So then he needs the ride home. And the lady who was there at the office said, you realize he has a scooter. He can't just get into a an XL, Uber XL. And I said, wait, what? I had to spend. So by the time everything was said and done, I think it was $650 for just this one person for a consult because we had to get a last minute medical transport with wheelchair accessibility to come in from New York City into New Jersey in rush hour.
Wow.
To pick this guy up and bring him home. So I wish we could do more in terms of transportation for so many people. I know Thomas is here and we've helped Thomas with a few crazy rides, right, Thomas?
Yeah.
I wish we could because we want to get you. We don't want, if we say there's a limb-saving doctor and you don't have a car and you don't have an ability to drive, we want to be able to get you there. And
I know how
your doctor was what, 2.5 hours away?
Or Dr. Walker? Yeah,
Yeah,
he was about two
he
and a
was pretty
half, 3
far.
hours.
Yeah, and was it your transport canceled on you? I think it was last minute or something.
They do it all the time. Right?
Yes.
When I order a specific transportation company, because I know they'll take me all the time, I've got a good one now.
Oh,
But
good.
they would put it out, and I don't know what they did. The left hand wasn't speaking to the right hand. And dispatch would just put it out there for everyone to try and get it. And they would say, yeah, we'll have it. And then I'd call them in the morning when it's time to leave, and they're like, oh no, we dropped it. We can't do it today. So
That's
it's
Hey, Kim,
Yep.
how many vascular surgeons are there in the world?
Wow, I don't know exactly how many, but I know that in other countries they have a good number. I know in Canada there's a shortage.
So how many are in the States? How many thousands
In
of,
this
yeah,
in the States, what I
Yeah.
can tell you is 30% of hospitals have posted wanted ads for vascular surgeons, and they're
Yeah.
expecting a 34%, I think it was, decline in vascular surgeons over the next few years. And so there's going to be, especially with the increase in the prevalence of this disease, it's going to be a struggle if we don't get a larger number of vascular surgeons, because a lot more of these patients are presenting at a later stage, and so they're going to need hybrid approaches, not just endovascular, but possibly bypasses and endarterectomies, and they're going to need surgeons. But right now, what's great is that you have interventional radiologists, interventional cardiologists, and you have vascular surgeons, and even cardiothoracic surgeons are getting in the game. Douglas's doctor is a cardiothoracic surgeon that could literally stop and start a heart with his hand, that discovered the future being minimally invasive. And so he started with the smallest vessels in the heart. And if he could traverse those arteries with a moving target, he figured, why not get trained in the legs, which are a straight shot? And so he
Okay.
started doing the
Okay.
legs as well.
Hang on. Heinz, thank you. Heinz just posted for us that there was over 15,000 vascular surgeons in the States.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Thank
so
you, Heinz.
Kim,
Yes.
you have a target.
I don't take money from doctors.
You want it's not you, it's the charity. The charity.
We don't take money from doctors.
Okay, so if 15,000 doctors were willing to give you $100 each, you wouldn't take $1.5 million?
That would be awfully great. But no, the reason that we don't is because, and we can't, is
Why?
because of the sunshine laws. We can't take money because we're considered, even though we don't do referrals, because we make connections between patients and doctors, we cannot take money from doctors. We were told that, and we were highly criticized when we took some initial money from a few doctors that helped us through a really big rough patch. And so we don't do that at all. If they did it silently, where we wouldn't know.
Can I add one thing to that? There's over 15,000 But my first thought was, how many of those are CLI fighters? Is there that big a difference between a regular vascular surgeon who I had to begin with compared to the CLI fighters I got with afterwards? So is there may be, I know a lot of good Mercedes mechanics, but there's only a few of them that can actually fix a Mercedes properly.
Mhm.
Okay.
So don't we experience this? Aren't we glad we have Kym, who can help us get away from those doctors that are just doing procedures, and get to those doctors who the first words out of their mouth are not amputation or let's just do an aorta bifemoral bypass. That lady on that call, she had a fem, and yeah, and now she's messing with all this stuff. And her doctor retired. Now she's this new doctor, and he's gone off in another direction. She says he's just surgery trigger happy. Everything he wants to do is surgery. So it's like, yeah, there may be 15,000 vascular surgeons, but how many of those? Oh, I'm gonna say it this way: how many of those? How many of those? How many of those would fit Kym's list?
Very few, probably.
So a lot of the doctors, they're all trained to treat PAD, right? They're all trained in bypasses. They're all trained a little bit in some endovascular, but Douglas is making a fair point that yes, if you go to a vascular surgeon, they can treat PAD, but can they treat chronic limb-threatening ischemia? Yes, they can. They have amputation. They can with maybe if the patient is a surgical candidate and they can do a Hail Mary surgical bypass. But how many are trained in advanced limb salvage techniques such as the deep vein arterialization, where they can hijack a vein in the calf, send a covered stent through it, and reroute blood flow into the foot? Not as many. We're growing in numbers, but you have Dr. Anita Dua, you have, even Dr. Lily Johnston just put out a message that she is doing a minimally invasive bypass from the thigh to the knee known as PTAP or the detour system, but not all surgeons do that. But the same goes for interventional cardiologists. They may or they may not be a CLI operator. They may treat PAD. They might treat your arteries to the knee, but do they go the extra mile and treat the small vessels below the knee? Or will they tell you it can't be done, it shouldn't be done? 2013 data shows that it's not durable, so why delay the inevitable and let's just cut off your leg now? Or walk till you can't walk anymore, and then we'll cut off your leg.
How many doctors have you dealt with here recently, or since you've been doing this, that said they go to amputation because they don't believe going below the knee? And
that
then
is the number one complaint.
Yeah, and then there's that Japanese doctor that you saw goes between the toes, and it's like, I wonder how
couldn't believe that.
how many doctors here in the States would fall out of their chair if they saw that?
You guys can actually look it up in the group. There is not only the Japanese doctor, but I showed Mariano Pellegna from Italy. If you go in the group there and you look at Mariano Pellegna, you'll see the post I did, and I think there's a video of it. He literally poked between the big toe and the second toe to access the vessel to try and open up a blockage in the foot. I was like, and when I said it on the show, Dr. Phillips had said he just did his first one that week. I was like, oh my God, I had never seen that before. And so it's definitely, some of these doctors are literally MacGyver. I mean, they're crazy.
So, can you know a little bit about my my doctor that I have, and you know my story. But with me, my cardiologist, he's a, I just interventional cardiologist. And I've got some issues going on with my left leg, and I just had spine surgery. And so I'm like in a pickle here because I'm needing to get this taken care of, but I'm also needing to heal from my spine surgery. But my doctor, my interventional cardiologist, when I seen him, he says that he is more concerned right now about what is going on from the knee up. So this is telling me if something happens to my lower legs, is he going to have to bring in what do you call it? What would I just had a mind blank. That
CLI
that
specialist.
specialist. Yeah.
Did you
And
ask
what
him
is
if he, did you ask him, and here's the question to ask. There are doctors that treat below the knee that just should never treat below the knee. They just treat below the knee and into the foot willy-nilly. And you don't want to do that for the most part unless a person's a toe step away from amputation. It's a great place for people to grow collateral vessels in the calf and into the foot. So you can do a lot with 2 vessels versus 3 vessels. And there are doctors that just do too much. But here's the question, if it's medically appropriate to prevent a wound and or heal a wound, can you take a wire and balloon clear into the pedal arch? Pedal meaning foot. Can you take a wire and balloon into the pedal arch to open up my vessels and get blood flow?
see
If
he's
it's
I've heard
medically
from him and one
appropriate.
of his nurses that he has gone in from behind the knee. So I'm not sure where or what he was doing at that time, but because I've asked, have you ever had to go in behind the knee to do a procedure? And him and his nurse is standing right there, and they said, yes, they have.
Okay, so they can go in behind the knee and go up. So he might be concerned because you don't want to be fixing the stuff below if it's just a matter of turning on the faucet. So meaning, is your aorta blocked? Are your iliacs blocked in your abdomen? Are your groin arteries blocked? Is your thigh blocked? Because it's not going to do you any good to fix below the knee if the stuff above is not open. But also sometimes when you fix the stuff above, the below the knee stuff will kind of, sort things out itself. Collateral vessels will grow. Sometimes the sluggish flow will end up becoming a little bit better, a little bit faster, giving you more blood flow where you need it most into the toes. And so it just depends. You have to ask him the question, because I'm not clear by listening to you, and it sounds like you're not clear whether or not he treats below the knee. He can say, well, I'm more concerned about your stuff above, and he could have been kind of deflecting.
Yeah, from the knee up. So yeah.
If you ask him if it's medically appropriate, could you?
I know that I've got to get my common iliac artery cleaned up because it's blocked up right now. So, and I've already had the external iliac artery because I get kissing stunts in that one on my left side. So it's my left leg. I call my left leg.
Yeah, and that's a lot of times, and I think, I don't know, I think Lorraine isn't here anymore, but that's where a lot of times it takes a lot to open those up. And so most doctors, I would say, if they are going to deal with the iliac vessels, they're not going to deal with the below the knee vessels at that time unless you have a wound that's not healing. So get those iliacs open, because they can take a little bit of time, and you don't want them rushing through those arteries. You want them to be very careful and do things right. You want them to use intravascular ultrasound, IVUS. Hi, Marie. Oh, I hope you feel better, sweetheart.
And just one more thing.
You know, I have to wonder. I have to
Who,
wonder about
Hines or
something
Douglas?
here.
Yeah, Hines.
You know, in my case, I got seen by a cardiologist for my P.A.D. They ballooned, then they put a stent in. Of course, they failed eventually. They only got so far where they said, well, we can only do so much. We're going to send you to a vascular surgeon, and most likely you'll get a bypass. Now, through education from Kym, I was smart enough to go ask for a second opinion. You know, so I got transferred to a different place, and they didn't say anything about bypass. They put another stent, atherectomy, and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
That failed also, but I'm pressing forward. My point to all this is, though, a lot of people just don't know. And when I talk to my current doctor, and Kym knows who my current doctor is, he tells me him and one other doctor in Colorado are the only ones that do P.A.D. And this was about a year ago. You know, he believes that he only did one, that other doctor. And my doctor has done a few of them. He's done them for many years, in fact. But a lot of these doctors just don't know what's out there, I think. Or they do, but their facilities don't have the capabilities to get all that stuff. You know, so if somebody has a different type of atherectomy device, which is less effective than a laser atherectomy, or they don't have IVUS, while other hospitals or clinics have IVUS, people just don't know.
You got a point there, Hines.
This is a great resource. I mean, through Kym, I found somebody that I can count on, but not everybody is. I think a lot of these doctors just don't know what's out there, or they can only go by what they have available to them. And we don't know, as a typical, for example, American people, that, oh, you can go this avenue or you can go that avenue. So that's why there's a lot of amputations, because A, it's probably practice for the doctors, sadly, but it's practice for the doctors. But B, they have no other recourse. In you know, they don't know that, oh, I can go through the foot and save this limb. You know,
or it's money. They don't have the money available at the hospital.
Exactly. I mean,
I live in a rural community. The guy here can't get what they can get in Houston.
You know what's interesting is over in
If he's not a
Italy.
part of a big hospital, right? So you're right. I mean, how hard is that a dilemma that we live with today?
Yeah, Hines, I think you should put together our page on that for our website. Would love that, because it's not.
Well, a lot of
you
people
say
get
it so
confused
eloquently.
by Dr. Google. A lot of people get confused by Dr. Google also. You know, they don't know how to weed between the lines there to make sense of anything. But I think a lot of our shortcomings on how we handle people with P.A.D. is because the facilities they go to just don't have the capabilities. You know, or they've reached a limit and they can't do anymore. And they don't know to say, let me contact Kym and see if there's a second opinion. You know, who can help me out here. I mean, again, I feel very lucky. You know, that second opinion matters.
Yeah, I wish
How
it was
much
that easy for me.
money? What's that, Beth?
Because I said I wish it was that easier for me, because I am so far away from top-notch P.A.D. doctors, interventional radiologists. I have to travel almost 4 hours, and I don't have the vehicle to do it. So therefore, I'm losing out on these doctors that could be actually helping me. I have a fairly good cardiologist here that I'm, happy to say I am happy with them.
Now I have him on speed dial. I'll ask him the question.
Kym does have him on diet. And I just, and then I'm going to be moving further south. So I'm going to be like an hour, maybe an hour and a half away from all the doctors that I have now, that it's taken me a while to get. So, and I just forgot where I was going with this. So I'm going to shut up. I'm tired.
So are you moving out of Effingham?
I know,
am
we're gonna
moving
have
from
to take,
Effingham.
we have to take advantage. We have to take advantage while
Yes.
she's still here and save as much as possible.
I
Bad.
am moving out of Effingham to a small town called Louisville. And it's not Louisville, Kentucky. It's Louisville, Illinois.
Now, that's not going to be as much fun as Effingham.
But we can still say, do you miss Effingham? We can always find a way to bring it up.
No.
Effing no.
No,
Effingham,
no.
effing no.
Does it have as many
Yeah.
tornadoes?
We had this last bunch of bad weather that we had that came through. We ended up with 3 of them. We had one that was in northern, it was Effingham County, and then we're Effingham. And if you look on a map, you'll see 50, is it 57, 57 and 70 where they cross that. And then you've got I-45 runs down the side there. I'm right where 57 and 70 connect the T. That's right where I live. I can walk. I could walk to the
I just
interstate and get
went
on
by
it
your
right there.
house.
You
I was
did?
just
Who's
there.
this?
Uh-huh.
Oh, Marsha.
Marcia.
Oh, wow. How crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to my son's. I went to my son's in St. Louis. So I went twice,
Oh.
there and back.
I'm curious who Chris is. Chris has not said anything. Chris, are you a spy or are you a real person? Do you have P.A.D.?
No, I was muted because I'm in my pajamas. I mean, and I didn't have my camera
I
on.
love that. We should do a
Yeah, so
pajama
I'm
night.
just-
That would be
okay,
fun.
here I am.
We can't
Hi,
hear your
Chris.
pajamas though.
There you are.
I'm in my.
Hi,
so cute.
Chris. Oh, that's a
Hi.
cute robe. I love the color.
Well, it's good. I wear it every day.
So
Yeah.
comfy, cozy. I usually wear my my pajama pants. So if I ever had to show, today I'm wearing my scrub bottoms, but normally I wear my pajama pants and I just change the top and put on a necklace.
It's like those guys that work
You
from
still
home
look
with
good.
the suit and the tie. But
Thank
they're
you.
really in their boxers.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, they really would. They wear the boxer in the, yeah, that's so funny.
It is Zoom,
I love
so
it.
we can only see what we can see.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we
Yeah,
can't
no, well,
hear
I've been
your
missing the
pajamas.
Monday quit smoking ones just because I have something that takes me further into it and I have to get on by 4:30. And you guys are, except for Kym, I think, are 1 or 2 hours behind me, ahead of me. So anyway, so I just
So-
saw this was
located?
going on. I thought, oh, I better pop in.
Yay.
Yeah, where are you located, Chris?
I'm in Arroyo Grande, San Luis Obispo, California,
Yay.
Central California.
Oh,
Yeah, like Pismo Beach would be the nearest beach.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm okay. I'm just waiting for my results to come back for
Okay.
my every 12-week. Usually I have the bilateral scan. This time he asked for something about the veins, so I had 2 separate tests. So I'm not sure exactly what, but I figure he's testing my artery and my veins.
Yeah, no, it's good
Do you
because
know
if
what?
you have swelling, if you have swelling in your legs at all, from standing or by the
Not
end of the
really.
day, you end up with swelling. No?
Not much. I mean,
Any
it's
heavy
tighter.
legs? Yeah.
My legs are heavy, but but they're no different than they have been for a year or 2. So I'm
Okay.
just used to them.
Well, at least you're not getting worse. So that's good. But
No,
we want
I don't
to, we
think
want to
I'm
make sure
getting
you're
worse.
stabilized, but you walk a lot, don't you?
No, not as much as I should. I'm lucky when I get 4,000 steps.
Okay. Well, that's still, you're getting out, you're doing it. You can always join us on a Wednesday morning. You can join us at any Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. and walk with us because I'm on my treadmill usually at 8 a.m. Wednesday mornings. Douglas is doing his toe yoga and his foot exercises. And we have a couple other people like Mike from Canada that does walking on his treadmill. Sometimes, Patsy, do you join us on Wednesday mornings? I thought I saw you there this morning. No,
I was there this morning, but
that's what I thought.
I haven't been going to the Wednesday mornings. I've been having sleeping issues, and being able to be on my computer at 8 in the morning was unusual for me. But I'd like to start trying that. So I'll see.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that. And I could set this
That's
up in
what
front of my walking pad, and I could walk on my walking pad.
Yeah. Come join me on my walking pad.
Okay, I'll try that. Is
Did,
that
did y'all feel?
Well, that was why I was
And look,
interested when
Imelda's
you were
walking.
talking about
Did y'all feel that breeze
different
come through? Imelda,
places.
slow down. Slow down.
Imelda,
My computer,
Imelda's
my hair
walking.
blew all over because you're 100 miles an hour back there in the background, Imelda.
I'm so proud of her. That's so awesome. Beth, go enjoy your grandbabies. We'll see you
Good
soon.
night, everybody.
Good night.
Hopefully you guys can join us on Saturday. That's our next show. We are going to be talking to an emergency room nurse that works with Dr. John Phillips, and she has a new website. It's called Code Brew, and she's talking about trying to end physician and clinician burnout. That's literally kind of started with COVID, but there's so much more that goes into it with documentation and administrative protocols and having to run from one patient to another, and their heads are just spinning. We have some doctors that will see anywhere between 40 and 60 patients in clinic a day, which is absolutely absurd. But I think it was Douglas that said there was one doctor, I think it was Dr. Craig Walker out of Homo, Louisiana, who he went to the waiting room and he was so impressed. But the doctor came out at some point, and Douglas was already there for maybe 2.5 hours over when his appointment time, 3 hours. And the doctor came out and said, "Hey, I know all of you are waiting and I appreciate your time and value your time, but I'm trying to spend as much time and devote the time needed for each patient. And I will do the same. And it's my promise to you, if you're a patient, I will do the same for you." And he sometimes is there 7, 8 o'clock at night, still seeing
And
patients.
I remember the room was packed with people, and not one single person groaned, grunted, or said a damn thing, for the simple reason that Thomas and I talk about this all the time, is I felt like I was acknowledged by the doctor, and that made a really big difference in how I felt.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. And I think that's so important. So hopefully everyone can join us on Saturday for that discussion. It would be nice, to have you guys there and ask questions, and it's under events. And then Monday we're continuing on with our orientation for food as medicine. Heinz, I don't think you were there last Monday.
I had
I
no
know
internet.
Alan
I was camping, and I even sent you a text the other day too. I had no internet in the campground I was at. I had no cellular or
Yeah, we
Wi-Fi.
had a special guest show up, a surprise guest. We got spammed big time, so we got to see more of an individual than we wanted. So we had a flasher, and poor Josh had to chase him, which was awesome. And I think Dr. Danziger had a heart attack. He was literally, I think, fully disturbed by the whole situation. But we've had it happen before, and so I was like, well, that can happen once in a while.
We did a thing on a Saturday all day
Yeah,
long.
we did.
Remember
that was
that
the diversity one.
Yeah, that individual popped on with a picture that nobody wanted to see.
It was the exact same picture. And this time they had actual sound with it.
Oh, Lord.
God.
Yeah, it was epic.
Well, so-
So anyway,
Mark,
we'll probably re-air that first orientation. Yeah, Chris.
So all of this is on the Facebook group, right? Because I must
Yeah.
have gotten a notification, join us on Facebook. And it happened to be on my computer, and that's how I got here. So if I go back to the Facebook main group, I'll be able to see everything you guys were talking about before about,
Yeah,
events and.
at the top that you'll see events. And also
Okay.
I can give you our YouTube channel. That's to get in. So if you want to be in the live in studio audience, that's usually where you'll see those links.
Okay.
But the ones there, if you want to just go to YouTube, and you could always go to YouTube and watch the live videos there, and you can comment and ask questions through that as well.
Okay.
And
So
we have
I'm
a
just
YouTube
gonna-
channel.
And and the YouTube channel just says peripheral artery disease or global. Just
It's YouTube. It's no, it's the way to my heart.
Oh, okay.
So it's at the way to my heart.
Okay.
But you can definitely join that. And if you look under live, you'll see all of our upcoming live events, whether it's our walking seminar on Wednesdays or, our hangout here. And you can always just email us at info@padhelp.org, and then get email invites to come to, I think Josh sends out a message on this one. I'm not sure. I know the walking seminar he does. I know he does that for the smoking group on Monday nights. I send out an email for the diet one on Mondays. I have a calendar invite that just is reoccurring. But that diet one should be pretty fun. And I know Heinz and I talk about, I think that we have a different functional medicine point of view, more progressive point of view on diet. So but he covers, really that foundation that the clinic guidelines support. So we have him for that. And then we have Dr. Lily Johnston that knows how to push the evidence a little bit further, which is great. So it provides a little bit of balance there. And also we have nurse practitioner Deidre that comes on that provides a little bit more balance on supplements and more progressive therapies. So
what's our next cooking?
Our next cooking one, we can ask Chef Eric, but maybe we can do the 17th. I have a lot going on between now and then. I just want to recover a little bit longer. So the 17th or the 24th. 24th might be better for me because I won't have a chance to create I have to create a thumbnail for every single one of these. If anyone wants thumbnail duty, I could use volunteers. But the thumbnail, I'm burned out on thumbnails. So I think 24th would be the best, because I have a lot to prepare for this week and next. I have 2 presentations next week. Will that work? 24th? I think we were talking about making breakfast, doing a bunch of different things with eggs. I think that's what you and Potsy talked to him about the last time.
Yes.
I can't remember. Breakfast any time of day.
Breakfast for dinner is always good.
Always awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I just want to end the broadcast so I have to go and take care of a dog that had surgery yesterday, major knee surgery. So along with me recovering from my surgery, I am taking care of a dog that cannot walk at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm going to go take care of that and help to cook dinner for my dad.
I'll send you the information for this lady.
Sounds good. Did you find out the location of that? We can get into that in just a moment, but always call our Legsaver hotline at 1-833-P.A.D. legs. And we're here to help you with any questions you have about P.A.D. Make sure before you leave our YouTube channel, like and subscribe to our channel. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.